Sira to, wala naman lisensya yung driver. Tapos yung isa, tingnan mo sir, yun, may plaka original, tingnan mo, tinampered niya, yun o, ayun yung original niya.
Okay.
Nakaukit pa. Original yung plaka sir.
Bakit tampered yung plaka?
Dropping po yun sir.
Kahit na dropping, hindi nyo dapat tinatamper ang plaka. Tinignan nyo ba yung ORCR nito?
2020 last registration niya.
Boss, magkakaroon ka ng problema kukunin sa impounding yan. Papakita mo mga papel yan. Bakit gumagawa ka ng ginagamit mo tampered plate?
The enforcer's just flagged down this vehicle now because he's put a plate cover and it's so dark that it just looks black. They are making him remove the plate cover and I assume they'll issue the relevant ticket also. Just like magic, there's a readable license plate again. And they just flagged down that rider, no helmet, no shoes. They're issuing the ticket and then they'll tell him to push the bike until he gets a helmet. What you'll usually see here is the vendors obstructing the sidewalk and then a lot of parked motorcycles, sometimes cars also obstructing the road. A lot of the time the motorcycles parked here are actually owned by the vendors, but then sometimes it's also the customers, so you end up having a mix. You'll see this sidewalk was turned into a car wash. The thing is, you will save money on the car wash, but if enforcers come along and catch you, they're going to issue a ticket for obstructing the sidewalk, so it becomes a lot more expensive. And then they're also getting the license from the other driver. He just handed it over now. That is a common problem here. The car washes, vulcanizing shops, eateries, and many of them are actually built on the easement. So you would wonder, how did you even build there in the first place? There's a parking lot over there, but then this jeepney is parked on the sidewalk. That's why the tow truck hooked up at the front. I think that guy arrived now. I'm not sure if he's the driver. There is a tricycle ban on Commonwealth. Problem is, a lot of the time, they don't have a license. Let's see in this case. He can barely turn right because his view is obstructed by his load. Look, he's trying to peer underneath the boxes.
Matanong ko lang, alam niyong bawal sa Commonwealth ano?
Wasn't sure if that tricycle's going to stop because they do sometimes have tricycles run away from them. That's why it's so difficult to apprehend them. They're forcing him to take a hard turn so that there's no way he can get enough speed to run away. And I'm not accusing him and saying he's going to run away. But again, they've encountered it many times in the past. And of course, there's no plate on the back. The driver already handed over his license, and likewise he said, yep, I know we're not allowed here. In an ideal world, the fixed post enforcers here in Commonwealth would apprehend this, but I don't know, maybe they don't have enough manpower because it takes a lot of enforcers, especially if the drivers try to run away. I'm surprised that so far all of the tricycle drivers have a license.
Alam mo yung bawal dito? Alam, di ba?
I must say that I'm impressed that so far every driver had a license. A lot of the time, they don't. So there's an improvement, I guess. This driver pulled over pretty quick, fully compliant, handing over his license. It's nice when it goes like that. Here on Bonnie Serrano, you'll see two motorcycles and a car parked in the bicycle lane. Although even before the bicycle lane was here, no parking was permitted. And in fact, just in front of that SUV, there's two more motorcycles that are also being ticketed. Ah, there you go. There's the license. Usually the cars parked here are from a nearby condo building. You can see that big sign in the background. It says no parking, both sides. So it's not so much that people don't know, more often it's that they don't care. That's the truth. Not always, but more often. And in fact, there's one more over here that's also going on the tow truck. And you see that pickup truck? They just got that also. And that's a pretty unique color. Look at that. Obviously it's on the tow truck already. That will go to Tomana in Marikina City. So far no one's shown a license, but I have a feeling this might not actually be the driver, but instead just trying to move it for someone else. That's often what we see. People come out and say, oh, it's mine, I'll move it. And then later they say, oh, I'm not really the driver, I was just trying to help a friend. What they need is the driver so they can put the license number on the ticket and then make sure it's moved away from the area. This guy that just came out now, shirtless with a towel, he might be the actual owner of the MC. So they'll ask him for his license, issue the ticket, and let him leave. It will go against his record, both his license and the vehicle itself. Right now they're issuing tickets to these two vehicles. People often go here because they can save money on having their tires vulcanized, rotated, and everything like that. But if you get caught obstructing the road, especially during rush hour traffic, you can be ticketed. And yes, the business owner is just as responsible as the drivers of the car. I've seen huge black clouds behind this jeepney. Makes you wonder, right? How do they pass a emissions test? And then look, he hit the brakes hard, but no brake lights came on. So I bet that's really fun to drive behind him. This street has no parking both sides, but you'll see there are two vehicles parked here. That's why the tow truck's already getting into position to pick one of them up, but I can see there's a driver for the other one. I've lost count the number of times that motorcycles, tricycles and cars have been towed away from this very corner. Everyone who holds a license knows you cannot park on a corner, actually within 6 meters of the intersecting lines. I feel like I should start calling myself Boy Pedestrian. Why do I keep encountering these vehicles parked on the pedestrian crossing? My goodness, good thing this MMDA enforcer's here to issue a ticket. The driver just came back now. It was empty when the enforcers arrived. I just don't know what he's thinking parking on a pedestrian crossing. It seemed like he even asked the enforcer why he's asking for the license. And aside from being on the pedestrian crossing, he's actually on the corner, so it's like a double whammy. Of course, on the ticket, it's only a single violation of illegal parking. And I don't know if you're going to believe this, but just a little further along, there's a very similar looking vehicle parked on the pedestrian crossing again. What's the situation? What's going on? Anyway, the enforcer is writing out the ticket, and then he'll send him on his way, just like the last one.